The new A-Rank Agent Kamino Manato is finally here with the 2.3 update for Zenless Zone Zero. I know a lot of people wish he wasn't S-Rank, but what I will say is that he has some of the toughest gameplay in the entire game. Since he's a Rupture Agent, a lot of his kit focuses around HP, and he does have a way to actually eat away at his own HP and increase his crit rate and damage in the process. And for you free-to-play players, don't worry, if you do the When Dreams Remain Unfinished event, you can actually get a free copy of Manato during this update. So if you've been looking for a build guide on Manato, I got you. I'm going to be covering everything you need to know, down to materials, what skills prioritize upgrading first, a kit breakdown, and all of your options for W engines, disk drives, and teams. But before we dive into it, this video is brought to you by LDShop. Now, if you're not familiar with top-up services, in short, they have discounts for in-game items for a variety of games, including Zenless Zone Zero, which looks like I have 36% off right now. As you can see, they have a variety of discounts for things like monochrome purchases and also Internet memberships. Getting these delivered to your account is also really simple. All you need to do is provide your UID. That's it. So for example, I'm going to get 3 Internet memberships, so I'm good for my daily login bonus for a couple of months. And as you can see, I still have 43 days left on my current membership with 8,449 monochrome. Also, as a side note, if you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon, and I'm definitely going to be using that here. And look at that, I come back to the game, and now those 3 Internet memberships have been added. If you want to check out LDShop, I'm going to put a link in the description and in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the video. As a general overview, Manato is a fire rupture agent under the Spook Shack faction with a focus around HP, crit rate and crit damage, and sheer force. And here are all the materials you're going to need to get him up to max level. For the rupture chips, come under combat simulation, and then we're going to go under agent promotion here, and then you're going to want to do the rupture drill for those chips. Same thing with the engine. Go under W engine modification, and then do the rupture resonator test. For what skills prioritize upgrading first, definitely your core skills. These are a big one. But for our regular skills, definitely do basic attack. Your special and assist are tied. Then do chain and ultimate, and then lastly dodge. And here are all the materials you're going to need to upgrade all of these skills. For the fire chips, come back under combat simulation, go under agent skill, and then do the heating test. For our expert challenge boss, just like with Lucy, you're going to have to fight the miasmic Kamino Manato 4. The corrupted dream steel, and again, you're going to need 60 of these. And for a notorious hunt boss, you're going to have to fight the new wandering hunter for his material, which is the Crimson Miasma Spike, and you're going to need 9 of these. To maximize Manato's damage, we need to understand exactly how his kit works. First, we have to talk about his core passive, Mighty Molten Edge. As we know with Rupture Agents, they scale off of HP, so the more HP Manato has, the more sheer force he's going to get. And all fire damage that he deals is considered sheer damage, ignoring all enemy defense, which is what Rupture Agents do, and it uses his sheer force stat as the damage multiplier. When he uses either special attack Return to Ash's Sacrifice or a defense assist, he accumulates what's called Blazing Heart, which you can see under his character icon. Now, if you tap his special attack with no adrenaline, it'll do the regular version of this skill. And his main effect is restoring your HP, and if you time up the skill correctly and you parry a target, essentially, you do get some damage reduction and the slash is enhanced. But the main thing I want to talk about is the sacrifice version of this skill. So if you actually hold the special attack button, you'll enter a charging state, consuming his HP and giving you Blazing Heart. Again, the longer you hold it, the more HP you consume, but also you can fill up that Blazing Heart bar all the way. Also take note that it can only reduce his HP to 30%. It won't go below that with this skill, but everything else is pretty much the same. Again, if you slash afterwards, it will give you 20% of your missing HP back. Now, coming back to the core passive, as long as you have 75 out of the 100 Blazing Heart necessary, you'll enter what's called the Molten Edge state. This state will consume 3.3 Blazing Heart per second. So if you have 100 Molten Edge, that gives you around 30 seconds of this state. This state also unlocks the enhanced version of his basic attack, which you heavily want to take advantage of versus just his regular one. Again, you really only want to get hits in when you're in this Molten Edge state regardless. Also note that this enhanced basic attack eats away at his HP, and that is important for later. This state also unlocks his X special attack Return to Ash's Fall. So once you have enough adrenaline, you can tap your X special attack button, he'll jump up in the air, deal massive fire damage, and restore 33% of your HP. I also want to take note of his other skill that consumes HP, which is the assist follow-up after the defense assist. So after you parry the target with Manato, you can follow up with that basic attack, and instead of doing the regular, assist follow-up, you can actually do 7 slams in a row with the skill. It does consume your HP. Anyway, coming back to the core passive, when he consumes HP when using that enhanced basic attack or assist follow-up, that attack's crit damage increases by 50%, and the adrenaline regeneration rate is increased by 100%. While in this Molten Edge state, Manato's crit rate increases by 10%, and his fire damage gets an additional 20% increase. The only other skills to talk about would be his chain attack and ultimate, which do really good damage, but the main thing I want to point out is that Manato just aura farms with both of these attacks. And for his additional ability, Rekindled Heart, as long as you have a support or stun character in the squad, when Manato uses his ultimate, he gains 8 stacks of what's called Remnant Flame, and when he uses his chain attack, he gains 4 stacks of it, lasting for 60 seconds, and you can stack it up to 20 times. When you use the enhanced basic attack or assist follow-up and you have Remnant Flame, as long as you don't have 100 HP, every time you use these attacks, it'll consume 1 stack of Remnant Flame and give you back HP. So even though those attacks take away HP, this is a way to kind of even out the HP distribution, but you can still keep all the benefits of the Molten Edge state as well. I know there's a decent amount of information in his kit, so if you're still a little confused, let me break it down into a simple damage rotation. First up, we want to gain Blazing Heart and trigger the Molten Edge state. That's where all the damage bonuses are. The way I see it, the easiest way is just by holding your special attack button before you even enter combat to consume the HP and give you max Blazing Heart. Again, when you use the enhanced basic attack or the assist follow-up and consume HP, those attacks get the crit damage bonus and the adrenaline regeneration rate increase, which is going to help you get to that X special attack faster. And as long as you keep up the Molten Edge state, you get a permanent 10% crit rate and 20% fire damage bonus. Which again, if you're running out of Blazing Heart, you can just hold your special attack button, or if you're on a different character and then you use Manato's defense assist, that automatically gives you 3/4 of the way for Blazing Heart automatically. So keeping up the Molten Edge state is fairly easy. Number 2, if you're using your basic attack and the assist follow-up to take away HP, whenever you need to get it back, just use your special or X special attack. Again, even if you use the regular version of the special attack, you'll restore HP, and as long as you use it at the right time, you'll gain some damage reduction. But once that adrenaline is full and you unlock the X special attack, again, using that is going to give you a big chunk of HP back. And number 3, use your chain attack and ultimate to get those Remnant Flame stacks. You kind of have to give Manato the Billy treatment, right? Because with Billy, as long as you use 2 chain attacks, his ultimate gets a damage bonus. And again, you use that when the enemy's fully stunned to max out your damage. Same thing with Manato. Even though it's not completely necessary to use both of his chain attacks during when the enemy is stunned, at least if you do both chain attacks and his ultimate, that will give you 16 out of the 20 full stacks of Remnant Flame, which is going to give you HP back whenever you use the skills that take away his HP. So all in all, before you enter battle, just hold that special attack button, consume some HP, get the Molten Rift state, and then just go crazy with his attacks. That's literally it. For Manato's best W engines, I would recommend his signature Grillo Wisp, which does have a higher drop chance with the current engine banners. You get a base attack and HP percentage bonus, and with this perk, Caged Fire, note this is at rank 5, which I do have at rank 5, which is very nice. You get a 24% fire damage increase, and when the equipper's HP decreases, their crit rate increases by 24% for 5 seconds. So as long as you're using those attacks that decrease his HP, you get a permanent crit rate percentage increase. The only S-Rank Rupture engine we have is Izwen's, which is Qingming Birdcage, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for him. Even the Radio Wave Journey from the Battle Pass, even at rank 5, I wouldn't necessarily recommend, even though it does give the HP percentage increase. The perk itself isn't really going to help him out that much, only when you use the Chain or Ultimate, which is a small time during his attacks. So your other option is the Puzzle Sphere, which you can get from Box Galaxy, which means you can get it up to rank 5 very easily. And lastly, you could use the B rank engine Cinder Cobalt, which does have HP as a main stat, and its perk is decent. For Manato's best drive disc, we're looking at 4-piece Yunkoi Tails with either 2-piece Branch and Blade Song, Woodpecker Electro, or Inferno Metal. Pretty much every Rupture character at the moment is going to main 4-piece Yunkoi Tails because the 2-piece gives a 10% HP increase, and with the 4-piece, whenever you use your X special attack, chain attack, or ultimate, your crit rate increases by 4%, stacking up to 3 times, lasting 15 seconds. And when you have all 3 of those stacks, you get a sheer damage increase of 10%. Even though Manato won't be able to spam these abilities like Izwen, at least he'll have a crit rate bonus and a sheer damage bonus occasionally. And the other 2-piece sets are pretty self-explanatory. With Branch and Blade Song, you get a 16% crit damage increase. If you need a little extra crit rate, having 2-piece Woodpecker Electro is good because that increases it by 8%. And if you decide to go 2-piece Inferno Metal, you get a 10% increase to your fire damage. For our main stats, in the 4th disc, we're looking at crit damage or crit rate. At the 5th, fire damage, and at the 6th, HP. And for our disc substats, we're looking at crit rate and crit damage, and then any HP and attack we can get. For Manato's best teams, he doesn't really have a free-to-play team, but as a budget team, you could use Pan and Pulchra. Pulchra allowing for the off-field stun, and Pan giving the sheer force increase to Manato. But if you're pulling for Lucia right now and hoping to get those extra copies of Manato, pairing him up with Jufufu and Lucia is one of the best teams right now. Lucia is the Rupture support agent, giving a variety of bonuses to Rupture characters and just the team damage overall, and then Jufufu not only increasing crit damage but also chain attack and ultimate damage as well. You could also sub in Lighter as your stun character as well because he does reduce fire res on enemies, and you could switch out Lucia for somebody like Astra as well. If you have any teams that you like using, definitely let me know in the comments. Lastly, let's talk about his Mindscape cinema, and is it worth getting multiple copies of him? M1, Drifter's Rules of Survival. Basically, whenever he loses HP, he gets a fire damage percentage bonus for both his enhanced basic attack and his assist follow-up. M2, Day and Night Kitchen of Love. As long as he has the Molten Edge state, he can actually ignore even more fire res on a target. And after being hit, when he uses the special attack Return to Ashes or the sacrifice version when you're charging it up, you can press your basic attack to trigger the assist follow-up attack and hit those slams very quickly. M3, Enter the Realm of Urban Legends, just gives a +2 level bump to his skills. M4, Childhood Oath. Not only does he get an 8% HP increase, which is just going to increase his overall damage, but if he takes fatal damage when he uses his special attack Return to Ashes or the sacrifice version, he'll remain in battle and his HP won't drop below 1. This can trigger once every 10 seconds. M5, Lone Shadow returns to the pack, gives another +2 level bump to his skills. And lastly, M6, Beyond the Dreams of the Past. So if he uses that special attack to hit a stunned enemy, he gets 75 Blazing Heart and 4 stacks of that Remnant Flame that you normally only get through your chain attack and ultimate. And if you press your basic attack afterwards, you can immediately follow up into the assist follow-up attack. And again, this can trigger once every 20 seconds. And when his assist follow-up hits an enemy, he gets a fire damage increase of 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Since he's an A rank, I usually recommend people try to go for M6 because that does kind of bring them up to the S rank level in terms of damage potential. But even for me, only having M2, he feels really good. Just having the general damage increase is nice, but I would like to get to M4 so I have a way to survive any fatal damage as long as I use the special attack. That's going to be really good for him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Manato build guide and kit breakdown. Let me know what you guys think of Manato in the comments. Personally, for me, I think he could go for a small damage increase right now. Granted, we do need to rework some other characters in this game for him, in my opinion. But overall, I'm happy with him. His kit is fairly simple to understand, and the ultimate and the chain attack just allow him to aura farm, which I think we all appreciate. Let me know how your Lucia and Vivian pulls are going. I am 10 away from the Vivian outfit, and I'm going to be saving that for when Yadari comes out because I really need her as well. In any event, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on any other Zenless Zone Zero content we have coming out on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on the channel and also over on Twitch. That link will be in the description. There are drops occasionally for Zenless Zone Zero, so if you want some extra polychrome and some other rewards, be sure to tune in to the stream. Also, be sure to join my Discord. If you got a great stat roll, if you have a good build going for a character, if you have a clip you want to share, we have an entire channel dedicated to Zenless Zone Zero. But we also talk about a variety of other games on top of PC tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. Now, if you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription. Granted, it's cheaper over here on YouTube, but you're going to get access to the exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other cool stuff, including early access to all my long-form videos. So if you'd like more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and that'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video.